Could that be a matter of life and death?
Like all of a sudden I'll just croak, you know? Yeah, it does feel like life or death. Someone should be responsible for having delayed my treatment so much.
She has stage 4 cancer, and a new law says she's supposed to receive potentially life-saving treatment. In some ways, she views the battle with her insurance company as worse than what's going on inside her body. Good evening. I'm Fox 13 News investigative reporter Adam Herbets. Tonight, our special report will show you how the Medicaid system is making things more difficult for at least one dying patient, and how the speed of government could be taking time off of more lives.
Pick this one.
I grew it.
Oh, you grew it. Can I have a bite too?
Ariel doesn't know how much time she has left
That's for you don't go to
with her 2-year-old son, Bodie.
Pretty much every time I leave the house, he says, Bobby's going to the doctor. They're called tendrils.
They go tendrils.
Right. And look, here's a spider. Oh, it's a big spider. We're all gonna die at some point, and I'd prefer not to have a doctor give me an estimate on what they think my span of my life will be.
She prefers not to call it a fight with cancer. It's a journey. Doctors found it spreading from her appendix.
I was diagnosed a little over 1 year ago. It was a week after my 30th birthday. Yeah, it's rare. It's like 1 in a million cancers, and then the typing that I have is like 1 in 2 million. Can I have a kiss? Thank you, my love. Are you so handsome? Can you raise your hand if you're handsome?
Scary.
Ariel is a single mom from Arizona. After her diagnosis, both of her parents stepped away from work and moved with her to Utah. Taking care of Ariel and Bodie is their new full-time job.
It's her battle, and I wish I could take it from her.
With my type of cancer, they don't really use words, unfortunately, like remission or like cure. So what we hope for is a longer, at least for me, a longer life.
Doctors say perhaps her only path forward is a treatment called PIPAC. It's not FDA approved, but is going through clinical trials. Ariel is a perfect candidate.
So this PIPAC surgery, what it does is goes in laparoscopically and infuses hot aerosolized chemo at a high pressure into my abdominal cavity.
But despite letters from her doctor, her insurance company, Healthy You, would not cover it.
We were actually given multiple different reasons for why it was denied, different than the one that they wrote originally on the paper. And all of a sudden you need this life-saving treatment and you're just like, please, you know, it's like, do I need to beg?
At first, Healthy You said it does not cover treatments out of network. Then she called and was told it was an issue with the paperwork. So she appealed and was denied again.
They don't cover investigational or experimental treatments.
This is now the third different excuse you've been given.
A third different excuse.
This whole time, both of her parents, who, by the way, work in the medical field, kept researching.
Show me the hoop, I'll jump through it. Show me the next hoop, I'll jump through it.
Then, finally, a breakthrough. They found a new federal law requiring insurance companies to cover clinical trials, starting January 1st, 2022. Mom and Dad were shocked. Potentially life-saving information was kept from their daughter.
If you didn't ask exactly the right question, they're not gonna volunteer it to you.
No, I'm not a special case. I'm not a charity case. This is what the law says.
After months of denials, the next step was to appeal to a state judge. Ariel won, and the University of Utah stopped putting up a fight.
Oh, you need this? Great, here's the process. And then deny. And then, oh, try again, deny, try again, deny. And then you get to a hearing in front of a judge and everyone goes, oh, yeah, we are required to cover it. Okay, we'll cover it.
Representatives for Healthy You said they did not know about the Clinical Treatment Act until days before the hearing, and that they kept denying because they weren't sure who's supposed to foot the bill.
I genuinely don't think that people knew about this law.
But it's not your job to know.
Yeah.
It's their job to know.
Seems like would be someone's job to know, yeah.
The judge was upset. He ended the appeals, demanded treatment, and told them to figure out the payment later.
I think they deny knowing that if the majority of the people fall off, it saves them a lot of money.
Healthy U had been communicating with Fox 13 News for months, but ultimately declined an on-camera interview. Instead, they sent us an email, which reads, in part, "Our goal in attending the hearing in this case was to seek clarification about federal law and policy updates recently announced by Utah Medicaid." But it's not like the hearing was optional. They were required to attend. Healthy U also said it couldn't approve anyone until July, when the state implemented policy. We asked if that was true.
When they say they didn't know how it's supposed to work, should they have known?
Yeah, let's talk through the process.
Jen Strohecker, Utah's Medicaid director, says the Department of Health received guidance from the federal government in December and April, implemented state policy, and sent out a bulletin to each of Utah's 4 Medicaid providers in July.
I believe that we acted very timely. Policy development does take some time, and it's important that it goes through these steps so that it's done properly.
Is there anything you would say to patients that feel like for every month that goes by, their life expectancy goes down?
That's a tough question. Our processes that we work through at a state level can seem very confusing and convoluted from the patient perspective, right? And I understand that.
You just put it in here.
Ariel received her first PIPAC treatment in August. She's not sure who else had to either fight with insurance companies or give up.
You put stuff in that.
How many patients were denied for something that they retroactively ended up being eligible for under this Clinical Treatment Act?
I can't answer that question.
Is that something your office is interested in researching?
I mean, we could.
Can I have a kiss on the nose?
Something is dark.
Do you think about dying?
Yeah, a lot. My goal is just to, not live forever, but live to a point where my son can give me permission to pass.
We asked all 4 of Utah's Medicaid providers the same question. How many patients like Ariel were denied as the state tried to figure out how to implement this new law? And were any of them given information about the Clinical Treatment Act? Next week, we will continue our reporting with those answers. For now, at the U, Adam Herbets, Fox 13 News, Utah.